Well, hey crafty friends, it's Hiedi Scott with DiyDreaming. I hope you're having a wonderful day. On this video tutorial, I'm going to show you how to do a craft project involving baseballs. And I actually made these on Facebook Live around 3 years ago. So I thought it would be fun to just do it again. I sourced out some supplies that are more readily available, and I'm going to show you everything start to finish. I also want to suggest that this would be a fun activity if you're looking for something to do with little ones, or teens even. Your own kids, your grandkids, your nieces and nephews, if you have people visiting, this would be a fun project to do. And then you can pull it out year after year. They could even put an initial on it so they remember who made which one. Okay, so this is what they're gonna look like eventually. And mine are looking a little sad because I have had them in this bag of 4th of July crafts from the last 3 years. So that's another reason why I thought we would start over. As you're hopping on, say hello, let me know where you're watching from, feel free to sprinkle, all that kind of stuff. Okay, well the main ingredient is baseballs, and they can be new or used. When I made these, they were actual baseballs that my son had practiced baseball on, and we had this big tub with a whole bunch of them. Well, I couldn't find that tub today. It may have been taken to play it against sports or something. I don't know. So I went to Walmart, and I was surprised. Do you know how expensive baseballs are? I mean, some of them were like $5 or $6 a piece. But I stumbled onto this one, and I'll get a picture of this. It's a T-ball baseball. It really doesn't matter. For ages 6 and under, it says recommended for practice and gameplay. And it's Rawlings brand. And these were $2.87 or something, which still is kind of crazy if you ask me. But it's better than $5 or $6 a piece. So, but what I want to encourage you is if you had a friend, a neighbor, a child, a niece, a nephew, a grandchild that loved baseball, played baseball, see if they still have some of those old baseballs hanging around, because you can use those too. Okay, so it's going to involve that, and then the paint I'm using today is my favorite, my current favorite. It's Waverly brand chalk acrylic paint, and it's no prep. It sticks to baseballs just great. This color, this red, is crimson. The blue is called Ocean. And then I'm using white to touch up and cover up a few things because, dang it, you know, these baseballs, they just have all kinds of stuff printed on them. And that interferes with my plan. So if you need to touch up, like if your lines are shaky or bad, don't worry about it. But if you feel the need to, or you need to cover something up, I use this Waverly white paint also. And then we're gonna try this. I've not worked with it before. It's Waverly wax. This says waterproof, seals and protects, non-toxic. And this is called antique wax. It's also from Walmart, and it's also just a couple of dollars. And then I'm going to be using my favorite, these Magnolia ink and pen marker things. So let's get started. And I have been working to get this all prepared for you so I can show you some steps. Okay, and I'm going to work on this because it will keep my projects from rolling away from me. Okay, before I came live today, I painted 2 coats of the crimson red on this part of the baseball. This is to sort of look like the stripes on the American flag. And I want you to notice I did this before lunch, and so I was a little shaky. I guess my blood sugar was not great and I needed to eat something, but it does not matter. So this is 2 coats of this done freehand, okay? I'm gonna show you the next step. The next step, let's get a paper plate. The next step is to paint this part blue. And I personally like to leave the laces unpainted. We are gonna make them look distressed though. And as far as the distressing or antiquing goes, that is totally up to you. If you don't want to do that, you certainly don't have to. Let me find a good brush. Ah, this is a good cruddy brush, just perfect. Okay, and this is Waverly. Ocean is the color. I get this Waverly paint at Walmart. I know not every Walmart carries it. You might be able to find it on Amazon or at another kind of craft supply store. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna paint this area blue, and we won't really have time for me to do 2 coats of it, but that is what I would do. See how I'm leaving the laces unpainted. And it looks kind of purple in this light, but it's blue. Okay. And I'm covering up some of this writing here. So look at your baseball to determine which part of it would be better to have the blue paint and which part of it would be better to have the red and white stripes. And if your baseball is old and it's, you know, brown from lots of play, that's even better. These are fun just to pull out every year at Memorial Day, at 4th of July. You can just throw them in a basket, put them on your coffee table, put them on your mantle. If you do it with little ones and they put their initials on them, I think that would be really sweet. Part of my problem here is that I can't see what I'm doing. My camera light is so bright. Okay, so this is essentially what it's going to be, and I know it does look kind of purple, but it's blue. It's ocean blue color, and when you put the second coat of paint on it, it will look like this. You see? Okay, so I'm gonna set this, I'm gonna set this aside. Hopefully I didn't just smudge up my red stripes here. This one is in process and we're gonna finish this one up. So I'm gonna grab my heat gun to try to hurry the drying process along a little bit. And I didn't say any of my normal stuff at the start. I just jumped right in. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I would love to know who's watching. Feel free to sprinkle. Feel free to ask questions. If you want the information, the names of the paint, and where all that stuff came from, or information about these, just say link or say supply list or something, and I'll get all of that for you. This really is so easy. It just takes a little while because you paint one part and then you have to let that dry before you paint a second coat on it. And then you move over to the other area and paint a coat, like paint the stripes, and then you have to wait for that to dry. So I have been just rushing this along. I do always try to prepare so I can show you different steps of the project all the way to the completed thing every week. Yesterday, I'll tell you my little pet peeve. Yesterday I had a lady on my video, or maybe it was a couple days ago, who was giving me some unsolicited advice that I really didn't appreciate. She was telling me that I might want to think about preparing before I start my craft, and that I might also want to prepare some samples of my craft before I went live so I could show those. And she said this like 3 minutes into the video before I showed all those things. So anyways, I just wanted you guys to know that I do spend a couple hours every day getting prepared. Okay, this is fully dry now. You could leave it just like this if you wanted. You don't have to go on to the next step of antiquing. Totally depends on the look you're looking for. I personally like the antique look. And so I'm going to show you how to do that. And then I'm going to show you how to put the stars on, which I'm going to do that as a last thing. And I may come back and hit it with a little bit more antique wax. Okay, this is what I'm using. I have not worked with this before. If you have antique wax, or even if you have some brown paint that you could dilute, both of those things would work. This is it's Waverly brand wax. And it's antique wax, and it's from Walmart. It was around $2. It's so super affordable. Okay, and I just have a little rag here. You could use a paper towel as well. And I'm just gonna wad it up and dip it into some of my wax. Then I'm gonna offload it a little bit on my paper plate before I start. And then I'm just going to start applying it. And can you see the difference already? Let me do part of this. I'm always, that first little tap when you put some wax on is always kind of scary for me. Let's see, how am I gonna do this? I'm gonna pour a little bit of this in my lid. This stuff really doesn't have any odor, which is nice. I have worked with other waxes that smell terrible. You're just going to cover the whole entire thing. I'm starting with the red and white part. And you can come back, we may come back with a wet paper towel to remove some of this in the areas where it's gone on too dark. Maybe it would have been better for me to dilute this a little bit, I don't know. So let me do up to a section and show you the difference. And I'm antiquing the laces as well. Okay, can you see the difference? This area is a little too dark. Especially in the laces, you can see a big difference. Okay, I'm gonna try something that has worked for me in the past. We'll see if it works this time. This is clear wax, same brand. And sometimes if you use a clear wax on top of a antiquing wax, it will pull off a little bit of the wax if you've gotten it on too dark. Let's see. Yes, it does work. Oops, it's also pulling up some of that red because my red's not fully dry. Anyways, okay, well, let's go back to the dark. And I'm doing it over the red and blue parts as well. And over the laces of the baseball. I had one son who loved baseball. He still loves it. He's a super big Braves fan. That's the Atlanta team. And I had one child who could care less about baseball. He really didn't care a lot for sports. Let me see. How am I going to pick this one up? I just want you to see the difference in the red and white. I'll get pictures because I really don't want to mess that up. Okay, now I'm going to do the blue part, and then I'm going to show you how to do the stripes. And this darkens up that blue if you felt like it was too not dark enough or too purplish or something. Using a little dark wax on that fixes that problem completely. Okay, and then let me get a paper towel. I'm gonna buff it just a little bit. And there we go. So that is how to antique them. If you have brown paint, you could use that, just thin it out. If you have already a wax, a dark colored wax, you could use that too. Okay, so now how do you do these stars? Neither one of these are ready for that step. So I'm gonna show you on this baseball that I did a long time ago. We'll start on this side. Do you know how I made those stars? I'm going to show you because I'm going to add one more right here. This is one of these markers that I love so much. I seriously love these. And if you don't have these are, in my opinion, are a pretty indispensable tool for your crafting closet. I use them for all kinds of things. And I'm going to prime it just a little bit by pushing it down on a paper plate to get the ink to flow. I'm using the ink one today because it's a little more solid coverage, and for this application it really doesn't matter which one it would be. And then I'm just going to draw that star, that 5-point star, fill in the center. And then when it dries, what you're going to get is one that looks like one of these. So I'm going to come back with my pen and I'm just going to put a second coat over the top, and that will make it more solid. Can you see the difference? Wait till it's dry before you come back to do that. You can also fix your stars at this point if they don't look enough like a star to you. And then when that's fully dry, I'll go back over it one more time with a little bit of this brown wax. Easy peasy, peasy, peasy. And I think, if I'm remembering right, when I did these initially, I used a paintbrush. And all the little white blobs you're seeing are just where the paint has cracked off, because These are 3 years old and they've been stored in a bag with a whole bunch of other junk. But anyways, so those stars are not great. The ones that I'm drawing on here are much better. And I'll distress them a little bit so they don't stick out like a sore thumb. But let's see, I want to show you this one too. So you can make your baseballs, just the stripes with the blue, and antique them or not. You can make them with the stars. Or this is one that I, 3 years ago, was just fiddling around with. And I did the red and the blue, and then I did one, well, a whole bunch of big blobs of blue. It doesn't look as patriotic to me as something like this, but I was just fiddling around at that point to see what it would look like. So, do you guys like this idea? If you do, feel free to sprinkle. If you joined us midstream, as soon as I'm done being live here, you can come back and watch it on replay. It'll be here under my videos tab and I'll label it. It'll be there as long as Facebook is a thing, I guess. And you can come back and watch it anytime you want. If you haven't already liked and followed this page, I would love for you to do that. There should be 3 little dots up here in the corner if you're watching on Facebook. Just like and follow DIY Dreaming. If you're watching on YouTube, I would love it if you would subscribe and like the video. If you want links, just say either link or supply, and I'll tell you what the name of these colors are. So you don't have to remember that, and where everything came from, including the pins. I'll get you a direct link to where you can get the pins. Yeah, and that is pretty much it. So let me see what I can pick up here. What is dry? This is the one that we just painted the blue on. It'll get one more coat of blue, and then it'll get antiqued, and then I'll do the stars on the blue part. And I'm gonna try to fix these areas where it's a little bit too dark, or I may just leave them, it's fine. And then these are the stars. I will antique after them. And if you want, when you're all done, you could cover the whole entire thing with a coat of clear wax, or if you want, you could use a clear spray sealer and let everything fully dry and then throw it in a basket and set it out for Memorial Day, 4th of July. If you do it with little people, then have them initial it or write their name on it. I think that would be super fun as well. So thank you so much for the stars. Thank you for sprinkling. I appreciate that. Let me know what questions you have. Let me know if you want links, and I will see you guys tomorrow. I did just finish these up. This was from earlier this week when I showed you how to make the pillow wraps that you can change out. This was one for summer. And I finally found some ribbon that I liked to finish this one up. Oops, that's upside down. So I will get this all organized and ready to go. And then I'll pull the names from the people who sprinkled that video and send out these to 2 different people that sprinkled. And that's pretty much what's going on. You need to do this lovely craft, says Dawn Squires. I think you do. Oh my gosh, especially if you're a baseball family, your kids or grandkids loved baseball, and you have some baseballs hanging out in your garage, you definitely need to do it. Alrighty. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.